Okay. I think I got this thing figured out. Greg Halverson, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. God bless you. God bless America. Oops. Right here, baby. God bless America. It's Friday night. Having a little glass of wine. I thought I'd check in. And I'm going to start using my YouTube channel and my platforms and social media just to have conversations. Just as if I'm talking to friends. I live in Nashville, and I moved here alone, on my own. I left Oregon in 2013, and I came here alone, didn't know anybody, and I work in an environment where I work on my own things at home. So I don't have an office, and I don't meet people. And I was just dawning on me the other day. I talk to myself a lot, and I'm like, dude, why don't you just start conversing with people online? If you want to have a conversation, they can hear you, dialogue with you, perhaps communicate in the comments, and sort of have that rapport that some of these YouTube channel people have. And I got into it. I decided to start doing this and ramp things back up again on my YouTube channel because I saw people doing just that. I started looking at a lot of gun videos. I'm interested, with what's happening in the country with firearm purchasing and learning about guns. It's amazing. If you've never gotten into the gun culture before, gun culture, if you want to call it that, if you ever got into guns, which is American culture, thank goodness, it's really it's fascinating, and there is so much to learn. It's very cerebral. You think people who own guns and know a lot about guns are stupid? I got another thing, some more news for you, buds. It's very cerebral learning about the calibers of the guns, different makes and models of the guns, manufacturers of the guns, that what a particular firearm can be chambered in, bolts and barrels and butt stocks and folding stocks and pistol stocks and braces and the optics, red dots and green dots and all these optics, Picatinny rails that you mount things on hand guards and on the tops of the rifle. You can mount things on there. You can suppress the sound. There's so much to owning a rifle. AR-15s, AR-10s, which is a more powerful gun. I didn't know what an AR-10 was. An AR-10 is a more powerful round than an AR-15. And then you have your standard. There's so many handguns. You have old classic revolvers, 357 magnums, 38 specials, 38 specials and 357 magnums. Those are bullets. And typically, if a gun, I believe, shoots a 357 or 38, they'll shoot both rounds. 357 being a more powerful round. These are just things I've learned, like over the course of the last several weeks, studying guns, all on YouTube. That's why I'm doing this YouTube thing right now, because I'm like these people are educating people, first of all, which is fantastic, and I just learned so much. But there's well, let me continue about guns. So there's the 9mm, which is the classic. And the thing is, in buying and learning what firearm I wanted, I had to figure out. It's like, because you read, go online. It's like this isn't a starter gun. This isn't the gun for novices. You don't want to go out and buy a 45 or a 44 Magnum, which I think is an even more powerful, because it's a newer gun mechanics engineering than the old 45s. But those are powerful rounds. You just don't. If you never shot a gun, you don't just go, just blow yourself to the wall. Just like not be able to hit anything. The key, if you have a gun, it doesn't matter. Obvious is obvious. It doesn't matter how powerful the gun is or how many rounds you have if you can't hit anything. I'd rather have a 22 where you're nailing a dude in the skull than 9 millimeter, 44, 45, some of the larger calibers, and miss. If you miss, you might as well have a squirt gun, right? So I started learning about these guns, and then I came across this guy, Hickok 45. He's a famous guy on YouTube. And drink a little wine here. Is that legal? Hickok 45, who I learned lives literally like 20 miles from me, just down the road. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And very famous. He's got 6 million YouTube followers. And he's just this dude who has on his property, he has his own shooting range. And he's quite famous by now. I guess I was looking at Tucker Carlson's going on Fox Nation. He's expanding his role on Fox. And he's firing on a range on a trailer video to promote his show that starts, I think, in April. And he's shooting with Hickok 45, who I just learned of like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, dude, Tucker's shooting with Hickok 45. It's insane. So this Hickok 45 guy, I thought it's a lot of these gun guys, they're doing just a video reviewing a gun, reviewing a firearm, reviewing an AR-15. And this guy is doing that. He's shooting. Goes out and shoots at his target. He's an expert shot, and he's 6'8". His hands are like baseball mitts, man. He's just in big hands, and he's shooting 9 millimeter, 10 millimeter, which is a very powerful handgun round. The whole Glock series. Glock, for those who don't know, is like your standard handgun. You think of 9 millimeter, it's Glock 17, Glock 18, Glock 19, Glock 43, which is a smaller subcompact. That's another thing about the guns is you go back, there's 9 millimeter gun. Not that simple. There's subcompact, compact. Glock 17 is bigger than the Glock 19, which is a better carry pistol because it's smaller. Glock 17 bigger. You think Glock 19 would be bigger than the Glock 17? No, Glock 19 smaller than the Glock 17. And then Glock 43 is a smaller subcompact. And there's Glock 20s, and it just there's so many different numbers. So that's another thing about the learning. It's just like, whoa, there's so many different Glocks. What do you want? What fits? And then there's another thing, holsters and slings for the rifles, and you got to add the swing swivels. There's a lot of mechanical things involved. You got to be able to break down the gun, rack the slide, loosen the slide, get the bolt, separate everything, be able to lube the gun, clean the gun, take care of the gun. There's a lot to gun ownership, and it's a wonderful hobby, and of course, it's also essential to protecting these things, and essential to our freedom. It is the number one right that we have, because without the Second Amendment, we don't have a First Amendment. We don't have free speech. We don't have the right to assemble. We don't have freedom of religion. That's why they want to take our guns. We're the only country in the world, except for, I think, Sweden, that really encourages private gun ownership among its citizens, and that's why the left hates guns, and that's why I love guns. So anyway, back to Hickok. So I'm watching this guy, and he's becoming more than a guy who just soberly reviews the firearm. He's sitting there, and he's just colloquially talking to the audience. He's just chatting, thoughts off the top of his head, opining, maybe getting a little bit political, but then he apologizes, and he's 6'8", and he's an expert marksman, and he's like 68, it's like, 6'8" and 68. Yeah, that's not 6'8" and 68. Uh-oh. I went dark there for a sec. So how long am I going on this? What's the time? 10 minutes. So he can go on. And then on Sunday, I come on Sunday, and he's given this. He's up for over an hour on Sunday, shooting a little bit, talking, and all he's doing is talking. And I'm like, he's got a personality. We all have personalities, right? And I'm like, dude, I got a personality. I can talk to people. I don't get to talk to people enough because I moved to Nashville, going back to the start of this, and I didn't know anybody. And when you work alone, work privately, and you're not in an office space, and I'm a songwriter, but I don't know anybody. I don't know any musicians. I'm not in a band. I moved to this strange city by myself with no friends, no wife, no dog. And so it's difficult to meet people. Or you can't just walk around and go, hi, I'm Greg. Want to be my friend? So he's talking to people, and I'm just like, dude, I don't get to talk to people enough. I'm going to start talking to people online too. Why not? Might as well. And and literally, it's a sad part of modern society a little bit. That you know, most of my contacts are online. That's my interaction with humanity. Especially, I mean, we're this month, in a few days, we'll be in March. It'll be 1 year of this COVID nightmare. This COVID nightmare has made hermits out of everybody. And I was like, in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, well, I was social distancing before social distancing was cool. It was kind of funny at the time. Now it's not too funny anymore, is it? 12 months later, I'm like, that's not that funny anymore. A lot of people, suicides at an all-time rate, fentanyl overdoses, record high here in Tennessee, all over the country. Childhoods, kids committing suicide. The fascist teachers unions refusing to work, despite the fact that there's literally zero risk in kids getting back to school. So it's been an ultimate nightmare. I don't get to talk to people enough. And another thing that inspired this, Hickok. So Hickok is just having a conversation. People love the guy, and I'm like, dude, I would like to talk to people online too. So he had the videos, and then I ran into someone on the sidewalk, and they said, oh, you like your hat or something, border patrol. And I'm like, it's got a little, like a 5-minute conversation with someone walking by. And I'm like, I kept walking, and I was like, dude, I had a conversation with somebody. Oh, I was like, I actually talked to a human being for 5 minutes, and it felt good. And so I was like, dude, this is not good. So got to have a sense of humor about it. Got to keep your wits about you. And so I decided between Hickok and learning about the guns, and kind of excited about the gun thing, and having a new hobby, and just being able to talk to people, having a conversation with somebody was exciting to me. So I was like, that's not good. Just have you had a 5-minute conversation with a stranger on the street, and like it made your day. That's not a healthy society, but this is healthy. And I got this little platform, cozy little chair. I got the white reflector, so it's a little brighter, backlighting me or front lighting me. Box wine from Walmart, can't beat it. And so I decided to start making some videos. I'm not going to go for an hour like Hickok, 45, but just thought I'd just weigh in. I wrote a few things down that I might want to talk about. But I won't keep you all night. It's like, but I'm just like, why not me? These people have hundreds of thousands of YouTube followers, and I don't want to compare personalities. It's like, dude, I have a personality. I can probably do this too. You know what I'm saying? But So I decided to start doing this. So and I'm going to do it, and we'll see where it goes. You know, they make money. They make money doing it. That's not why they do it necessarily, but they enjoy it. And you know, these guys have hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm like, I might as well weigh in on society, culture, politics, and just see where it goes. So that's where I'm at. By the way, this is my COVID beard. I don't really. I may have to adjust this camera thing as I go. I hope this camera angle is sufficient. But this is my COVID beard. I haven't shaved since early December, and I just like I was like, oh my god, this is really coming out. I'm like Ernest Hemingway. It's salt and pepper. Sometimes I think it's more white, but then it's all still dark under here. Obviously, I have brown hair. My eyebrows, funnily, it's funny. My eyebrows are totally. There's no white in my eyebrows. They're just totally dark eyebrows. Got a little on the white here. The whitening of the hair has slowed down. You know, that was at first. You know, the first thing you get when you start going white is on the temples, right? And it started going temples, you know, decade, 15 years ago, and then kind of slowed down. But the beard is heavily white right here in the front where it's most prominent, so it makes it look all white. But it's sort of a mixture thing, and I don't even know why I'm talking about that, except for I'm looking at myself. I can see myself talking, and I see this burly beard. But I have, if you've never seen me before, you don't know that this is the first beard I've grown in. This is the first full beard I've grown in 15 years, maybe. It's got to be at least 15 years. So it's kind of fun. You know, I probably won't keep it. And the thing about beards is if you shave it off, it grows back. Which isn't necessarily a good thing. That's one of the reasons guys stop shaving is because, dude, I'm so freaking sick of shaving. You know, everything. I'm always been kind of a once a week guy anyway. But it's been kind of fun, like watching this beard evolve. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger every day. Trimmed it a little bit, but you know, it grew over my mouth, and I was like eating my mustache, so I trimmed it. Did a little trim job. Which brings me to like, I guess you should kind of introduce yourself a little bit. This is my introduction video. I came to Nashville 7 years ago. Yeah, a little over 7 years ago in 2013, and I left Oregon because for political reasons and spiritual reasons. Portland's a satanic hellhole. Little did I know that what the kind of satanic hellhole it would become all in the summer of 2020. But you know, I saw the writing on the wall early, and it was getting worse every year. And this was back in 2013, guys. So I felt, you know, an ominous, just a degradation, a moral degradation in that city, and it continues to this day. And since I've been in Nashville, I go back because my mother lives and my brother live in Oregon, just out south of Portland. And I go back there in the summer, and my dad had some issues. He passed away in 2019 January, and so I'd go back every summer, and he had some mental acuity issues, and it wasn't full blown Alzheimer's, but he had cognitive decline, and needed some caretaking. But he was a delight to take care of. But went back, and so he was in his 80s. And so I went back to help my mom. I stayed back there like every summer for 2 months. And I had a rental house in Portland that I had to do a lot of work on to get ready for the winter. And so I would go back to Portland every year for 2 months. And every single time I went back there, it would just get worse and worse. And so like if you're absent from a place and then come back after a prolonged period of time, you really see the stark differences rather than just slow frog boiling, frog in the boiling water situation. I really saw it starkly because I hadn't been among or amongst. So I just saw it worse. So I know I made a good decision. It's a terrible. It's a bad place. It's a bad place to be right now for especially for a conservative. Every conservative I know, except for one good patriot I know in Portland, has left the city. It's like California. You can't live there anymore. It's because Democrats are demonic and they're horrible people with no morals, no moral fiber, other than power. Pure power motivates them, and they're pretty good at obtaining that, aren't they? Which is curious. But I'm not going to get full political here. But I moved to Tennessee in 2013, so here I am. I live in a spacious apartment about 6 miles south of downtown. And whoa, something just blew up outside. I don't know what that was. And here I am. Whoa. Something exploded outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Whoa. There was a huge flash outside the window and something just exploded. I really don't know what that was. It could have been, it's raining outside. It could have been thunder and lightning. Oh, it's been a long time since it thundered and lightning here. So maybe that was it. Don't have a lot of thunderstorms in Oregon. So this is Hickok 45, I'm just rambling. But so I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I've written 250 songs. So one of my goals is to network and I have to network. You can't just write a song and have no one sing it. But I'm not a musician. If you go back on some of my YouTube posts before this, very sporadic, and I haven't been consistently doing it because I'm not a musician. And quite frankly, when you write 250 songs, it's kind of like, where do I begin? So it's almost like if you had 10 songs, you would record every single one, just boom, 20, boom. You got 250, you're like, that's a lot of songs, So it's like this catch-22, like. I have too many songs, so I don't record them. But I need to start getting out there. COVID vaccine is here. Things are starting to open up. Hopefully we can get back to normal soon. And so I want to start networking here in Nashville. But I guess I'm just trying to tell you a little bit about myself. You can ascertain my personality through these videos. And please follow me, subscribe. I'm going to start posting these little conversations more often. And I'm not going to go into my biggest regret. Do you want to hear my biggest regret? I can do that later. Things I've done, I'm going to pass on that. Like climbing. I've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, run the bulls in Spain. I've done a few things. I've been to like 32 countries. I can relate things. I don't really want to plan these talks. They're kind of spontaneous. But, about climbing, it's interesting. It's like, what can you do that's a true accomplishment? You can succeed in business, close a deal. If you have skills and, you have like a carpentry skills, when you build a house, build a deck. I did some work on my house that I sold in Oregon, and now I have a house here in Tennessee that's a rental house. But you would do things in the house, and DIY. Here's YouTube again. The do-it-yourself. It's like and learn. It's like I laid my own tile, and I learned some basic carpentry. How to not hang a door. Hanging doors a little bit more of a skill. Some basic plumbing. And here in Nashville, I put a dimmer switch in to dim lights in my new rental house. I did it myself. electric work. I switched out some switches. You learn this DIY stuff. That's like an accomplishment. You feel good. And at my house in Oregon, it was a 19. God, I think it was a 1913. It was a craftsman bungalow. It was a sweet little house. 1,000 square feet, full 1,000 square foot basement. And I painted. I scraped, prepared, caulked. I mean, just caulk tube after caulk tube, caulked the whole thing, stripped it down to its bones, and painted it for probably the first time in 50 years. And I did it in 3 different colors, and it had the classic columns, inlaid column with a different color than the trim. And I painted the whole thing by hand. It took me like 472 hours. I wrote it down. It was 472 hours of my own labor doing that. And when I got done, it was such an accomplishment. And to this day, that house, and I'll post a picture of the house in the little subscription section here if I can, and you'll see the house. And that is one of the greatest accomplishments of my life, just painting that house 100% by myself. So I was thinking about, I have accomplishment. One of the things and I was talking about Mount Kilimanjaro, and I've climbed mountains a little bit, nothing special. I've summited. I lived in the Cascades. I lived in Oregon. I climbed Mount Hood by myself twice. Climbed Mount Baker, which is a big mountain north of Seattle. Climbed several mountains in the North Cascades. Climbed the sisters, Central Sister, Middle Sister, North Sister in Central Oregon. So a lot of mountains. I climbed Mount Ursurus in Turkey, and I went to Africa with an old friend of mine. And we climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, which is that's 19,300 or something. That's a big mountain. I'll talk about that maybe at another time. But that's just going back to accomplishments. Climbing a mountain. Why do people climb mountains? Well, because they're beautiful and it's a challenge. A physical challenge. It's a very big time. If you get up into the high spaces, it's very mental. Even climbing just a volcano like in Oregon, a 12,000 foot volcano, is a little bit of a mental challenge too. I mean, you got to bear down. You gotta see it through, and you have to deal with some pain. And when you deal with adversity, you get adversity in the mountains, mountain climbing. And when you deal with the adversity and you get to the top, the peak, the summit, everything's a summit, right? You've reached the summit of your career, the pinnacle of your career, the top of the heap. It's all mountain metaphors, right? It's like, so when you actually climb the real deal and you do summit, it's an accomplishment. It just feels good because you did it. And all the people, you're up there by yourself or with a buddy, and everyone, the whole world is below you. So at that moment in time, you're like, I'm the only person in the world, in 6 billion people, the world or whatever. I'm the only man on earth on top of this mountain. I think that's cool. That's just flat out cool. And that feels good. So so climbing mountains it's an accomplishment to climb a mountain, and it makes you proud, and it makes a great memory, right? It makes a great memory. So this is about to be a memory. I'm going to wrap it up here, finish this glass of wine, and go watch gun videos on YouTube. But I wanted to introduce myself. My name's Greg Halverson. I urge you to, I'm on Facebook. I'm a Greg Halverson blog. I have a blog on Substack called Greg Halverson Blog that I post on Greg Halverson Blog. I'm on Twitter at Greg H Blog. That's my handle, my Twitter handle. And I'm on Facebook at The Conservative Hammer. That's my Facebook political page. It's all political there. And then I'm on Halversong, which is my art page, and just daily, photographs. I can't post a song every day. I only have 250 songs, so I have to mix it up a little bit. A little commentary there, and I'll post this there. Halversong, Halvorson. That's my last name. This thing's going dark again. With a G on the end. Halversong. Can't say I'm not clever. So that's all I got. It's Friday night. It's February 26th, I believe. And I appreciate you listening and following me. And leave comments. I will respond to every single comment. I always respond to comments. That's one of the things, my pet peeves about, these people put up all this content, and they never respond to the people who are giving them their time to listen to them. So I think you owe it to the audience to comment and interact with them. And so you can contact me anytime. If you ever have a question, if you ever want me to discuss anything, let me know and I will discuss it. How's that? So I'm Greg Halverson. Please subscribe to my channel. God bless you and have a great night.